What's the weirdest social norm that nobody seems to question? Story 1. Cultural intimate behavior such as Western dirty talk or Eastern women crying like doing it hurts. F me. I am currently effing you. Eastern women were crying like doing it hurts. That's a thing? Try watching Japanese adult entertainment. You'll find out. Kinda weird, yeah. Oh baby, I love the way your boobs look in the moonlight. Although boobies are kinda just like sacks of fat designed to nourish the child that might be conceived by the intimacy we're about to have. What? No? That's not happening anymore? Okay. Story 2. The constant need to look different every day. If you wear perfectly clean clothes 2 days in a row, you're treated like a social pariah. Alternatively, if you wear the exact same thing every day, people will assume you have multiples of it, even if you don't. I have often dreamed of living the one outfit lifestyle like a character in a cartoon. I don't do this often, but folks in the comments, what would your one outfit be? Mine would be a rainbow drug rug, a pair of tie-style fishing pants, and flip-flops. On winter episodes, I would have a very large black scarf. Story 3. How when we see someone that we kind of know in public, we do not acknowledge them and pretend to not know who they are. I always hope they don't remember who I am, but I'm sure 95% of the time I vaguely remember them, they also vaguely remember me. Then it's a game of who can be the least awkward while pretending not to recognize each other. Pretty much an exact description of how my freshman year in college went. Please don't see me, please don't see me, please don't see me, hey! Crap, I hate moments like these. Today I went for lunch with my mom and the waitress was someone from high school whose name I couldn't remember. She said hi to me and started asking me questions about life after high school. She didn't say her name like waitresses usually do because she assumed I would remember her name. It was awkward. Oh, don't you remember me? I'm your great-uncle's friend's lawyer's cousin's mechanic's illegitimate son. Didn't they go to your high school? Go say hi. Don't be rude. Mom, please stop. Come over here. My son wants to say hi. Faints. It would be nice if it were socially acceptable to just say, hi, I know you. Okay, bye. That's not weird. That's just avoiding awkwardness for everyone involved. Hey, don't I know you from somewhere? Yeah, I think we work in the same building. Bill, is it? No, it's Tommy. All right, well, I'm Frank. Since we're on the same commute schedule and whatnot, should we get to know each other? We've seen each other in passing every day for the past 24 months and never bothered to discuss so much as the weather, so at this point, no, we should not. I don't get this. People I normally love seeing at school, I don't want to see outside of and avoid if I see them in a store or something. No idea what the explanation for this is. Maybe I'm just an a-hole. I've always assumed that seeing someone outside the normal realm of interaction is awkward because you don't have a basis for the current interaction. You don't know how talking to this person should happen in this particular context. For example, I saw a coworker at the grocery store once and my thought process went something like, are we supposed to shop together now? Should I leave this section if I don't want to continue shopping with her? And then, if you normally only talk about things specific to the environment you're used to, what do you talk about in the current interaction? How do you say goodbye? There's no way to know what's right. The rules are different and unfamiliar. Jesus Christ, you people are awkward. Here's what you do. Say hi, exchange a few pleasantries. If conversation sparks up, chat for a bit. And if not, say, see you around, and continue on your day. Some of you are making this a lot harder than it needs to be. Story 4. Weddings. We blow all of our money on one day that often turns out to be stressful and exhausting. This is because most Western traditions come from European royalty weddings, and since those were seldom about love, they were absurdly opulent as a way to intimidate the other family. So, weddings used to be de-measuring contests. Story 5. We poop in clean water and pay $2 plus for a tiny bottle of water. Story 6. Kissing is kind of weird when you think about it. Let's connect our food holes. You know, the top ones. It's also really fun until their tongue goes halfway down your throat searching for your breakfast. I think you people are kissing wrong. Story 7. After saying goodbye, it's awkward to walk in the same direction, so usually one makes up a reason to go somewhere else for a short time. Sometimes a coworker and I will leave the office at the same time and walk to the train station. I hate this because I feel obligated to walk with them, and this person is slow and I'm not really interested in having a conversation with them. So then we get to the train station and now am I supposed to sit with them? I'm not sure. The whole situation is completely awkward. Now I make sure that doesn't happen. Story 8. The fact that in English the polite version of words have French or Latin origins, while the foul versions are the actual English words for the things. S. Curse word. Defecate, perfectly acceptable. Fornicate, fine. F. Bad. P. How dare you. Urinate, just dandy. Vagina, wonderful. C. Everyone flips their crap. Basically, if it was spoken by the not even all that English Norman aristocracy, it's perfectly acceptable to use the word in polite conversation. But if you use the actual early English word that the actual common folk of England used, you're an inarticulate, foul-mouthed pleb. Never mind that this goes back like 1,000 goddamn years, yet it's still a belief everyone seems to uphold, even in multicultural America. Story 9. In India, outside of metros, romantic love is seen as a terrible, terrible thing. For example, even if you fall in love with someone from the same class, caste, and God knows what else as you, just the fact that it's not a match fixed up by the elders means that people in your family/society might look down on you. And the strangest thing is, almost every Indian movie, irrespective of region or language, but this is especially the case for Bollywood, is centered around romantic love. And the strange thing is, this is so accepted, even a young person exposed to Western culture may not think of this as strange until they really think about it. I'm Indian as well, and thankfully my parents have said that they don't mind if I choose my own partner. Hopefully other Indians will be able to fall in love naturally and not have their marriages arranged for them against their will. It's weird being from America, where I think a lot of folks don't think this kind of stuff is really a thing anymore. Most people I know talk about it like it's something done in Bible times. Story 10. This one has always bothered me in a weird way. You're expected to grow a certain plant in a certain way in front of your house, and if you do not take care of it/let it get unruly, your neighbors will call the government on you, who will force you to do it, or they will come do it themselves. This post is very anti-grass. And it wastes an insane amount of water. Here in California, the local water district will actually pay people to replace their lawn with something drought-tolerant. Story 11. So in Russia, when somebody asks you, how's your day going, or how are you, we respond with how it really is. So if you're having a bad day, you tell the person. In America, the response is either positive or usually nothing less than okay when talking to someone other than a friend or family. I get that it's a small talk kind of greeting, but oh my god, it bugs me. I'm in Romania, and if you answer good every time you see the same person as you would in America, they grow suspicious that you're hiding something. No one can possibly have a good day every day. He's a liar. I sort of like that. Kind of forces you to keep it real. Here in Friesland, could be worse, Koet wol minder is commonplace. It's like an awesome hybrid between yeah, good and not so good. It can always be worse. Story 12. It's considered polite for a guest to offer to help clean up after being invited to dinner, but the host is supposed to decline. I don't know, I will help most of the time I'm over, but I usually decline to help myself for other reasons. I really don't want to bother the guests. I feel like they should be treated properly, and I would expect them to do the same for me. I don't really like people touching my stuff. Sometimes it's a way of stepping out. Like, if my F-parents are over, I'll just take the plates and start cleaning the dishes while she's chatting with her parents. It's a way to quickly move to the next step of the evening. Look, folks, if a guest wants to help you clean up, just let them. Lots of guests feel bad if they don't help because you've already provided them with food and all that, and you'll both get done faster. Just let guests help if they want, but don't ask them. There. I'm solving all kinds of problems today. Story 13. This usually gets mentioned a lot, but I haven't seen it in this thread. It's perfectly acceptable for a woman to wear a bikini, and you will even see this on children's programs on television. However, bras and panties, which appear to be the exact same thing and show the same amount of skin, are a no-no. The only real difference is that we decided in our minds that one is for swimming and the other functions as undergarments. I always feel really exposed and naked when swimming in a bikini, more so than being in underwear. For F's sake, the material gets so wet and clingy when you're swimming. Me too, bikinis always pinch my balls. My ex, the mother of my kids, will sometimes change in front of my kids. Not nude, she leaves her bra and panties on. However, anyone who has seen this throws a fit. Usually it's just a change of shirt, but they still go ape crap. Every time I ask what the difference is between this and her wearing a bikini, never do I get a reasonable counter-argument. I think I'm more confused by how many people apparently watch your ex getting changed. Jeez. My parents changed around me all the time when I was a kid. Why is it a big deal? If anything, it taught me that nudity is nothing to be ashamed of. Is a person supposed to be apologetic somehow for being nude in the privacy of their own home? Story 14. Does anyone want the last piece of cake? Yes, I do. Oh. Story 15. If we answer anything other than good to how are you, then we are caught off guard. How are you? Good. You? Good. You? I make myself look dumb way too often. Hello. Good, and you? One time I meant to say, not bad, how about you, but it came out like this. Them, how's it going? Me, not going. About you? And I said this while still walking past them, so I just kept going instead of stopping and correcting myself or giving them a chance to respond. I felt so stupid. How are you? Not good at all. Weird silence. How are you? Effing terrible. Good to hear. Wait, what? I made what I thought was the perfect grilled cheese sandwich, but then I tripped and dropped it on the ground, smashing the corner. My favorite response to how are you has got to be, better now that you're here. So unexpected and instantly makes the person feel good. This thread is better now that you're here. I'm often guilty of disconcerting enthusiasm here. Morning, how are you? Amazing. Oh, you got up to something interesting last night? No, not really. I like to spawn with a genuine answer like, not bad, work stressful, going on vacation soon though, blah blah, etc. Boom, now you really know how I am. Beat that, small talkers. As a German, this was really weird for me in the USA. Not only did people never say anything other than good or fine, they also never asked back. I'm used to having a conversation like this. How are you? I'm fine, thanks. A bit busy with work. What about you? How are you? Oh, I'm good. My life is... In the USA, it was always, how are you? Good? And that's kind of weird. Okay, mainly facts guy, gonna solve this one too. If you're passing by someone and they are irritating enough to ask how are you in place of a quick greeting, you have to give a quick answer, nothing too negative, because if you walk by saying really bad honestly, then you both either have to stop and talk or they're going to be concerned about you not knowing what's up. Otherwise, if you're stopping and engaging in conversation, just be honest. Story 16. Not really a social norm, but it just blows my mind that tall buildings actually skip naming floor 13. Goes right from 12 to 14 because of superstition. Adults do this. Try living in Vancouver, land of we don't use the number 4. Why? I think it's gone from superstition to tradition. I noticed an elevator having no 13 and someone pressed the button for 14. I smiled and said to her, you know what floor you're really going to, right? And she was not amused. I was hoping for a Hedberg fan, I guess. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day. Story 17. And another one. We only have a greeting for people who are far away, waving, and people who are close, how are you? So if you're walking toward someone and you see him in the distance, you can wave. Then there is this awkward part in between where you've already waved but can't say how are you yet. If you waved too soon, this phase can be extremely long and uncomfortable, at least to me. From Douglas Adams and John Lloyd's Meaning of Life, Corey Arklett, the moment at which two people approaching from opposite ends of a long passageway recognize each other and immediately pretend they haven't. This is to avoid the ghastly embarrassment of having to continue recognizing each other the whole length of the corridor. Choreography. To avert the horrors of choreovory. Choreography is usually employed. This is the cowardly but highly skilled process by which both protagonists continue to approach while keeping up the pretense that they haven't noticed each other by staring furiously at their feet, grimacing into a notebook, or studying the walls closely as if in a mood of deep irritation. Corridor, the crucial moment of false recognition. They now look up with a glassy smile as if having spotted each other for the first time and are particularly delighted to have done so, shouting out, "Hello!" as if to say, good grief, you here of all people, well, I never have, coo, stab me vitals, etc. Corrimoily, the dreadful sinking sensation in a long passageway encountered when both protagonists immediately realize they have plumped for the corridor, much too early as they are still a good 30 yards apart. They were embarrassed by the pretense of choreography and decided to make use of the corridor because they felt silly. This was a mistake, as choreovory will make them seem far sillier. Choreovory. Corridor etiquette demands that once a corridor has been declared, choreovory must be employed. Both protagonists must now embellish their approach with an embarrassing combination of waving, grinning, making idiot faces, doing pirate impressions, and waggling the head from side to side while holding the other person's eyes as the smile drips off their face. until with great relief they pass each other. Corey, much luck. We're describing the kind of person who can make a complete mess of a simple job like walking down a corridor. If I'm walking towards someone and I know I'm going to greet them, I pretend that I haven't seen them until I get close enough to give them a smile and head nod before we're close enough for the "How are you?" Hopefully they'll do the same and not try to wave at me. Someone needs to answer this. What the F do you do in these situations? You just wave, walk along smiling, greet them, and pass. Look, I love Douglas Adams' goofy, choreography stuff as much as the next person, but here's the thing. No one actually cares in the end. In the situation where you see this person, you think, oh, they have expectations of me. No, they don't. They don't care. And they won't care. Nobody cares. Story 18. People posting everything about their lives online. I understand this more than ever right now. My gran died 10 days ago, and my family has absolutely flooded my Facebook newsfeed with any type of sympathy phishing material they can use every single day. 12 family members, easily 10 plus posts each. Even my half-sister, who barely knew her, is doing it. My father's wife, who she never met, is trying to post about it. My family hates my father, and even he is trying to get involved and weasel back into my poor mother's life via social media. I haven't brought myself to make a single post about her death, and some family has been a bit condescending to me about it. I just want to grieve on my own. I've never felt lonelier in my life, but I don't need the public eye's "oh sorry" in order to come to terms with things. Crap. Too long didn't read, bastard, poke your dead grandma or you're grounded. But no one knows who I am. It's safe here. Story 19. Adults can't wear shoes with Velcro because kids wear them. Kids also wear pants. Keep fighting the good fight. Story 20. Saying okay before we say bye on the phone. If you didn't and just said bye, people think you're mad. Go away, Anna. Okay, bye. Story 21. Pants. The Romans never wore them, but I do. They are hot, they restrict my giblets, make it hard to bend over to pick something up. The Romans knew what was up. I think you might want to get better at picking out pants in your size. Or do what I do and wear big, loose, tie-inspired fisherman pants. That's right, I'm mentioning them again because I'm wearing them right now. Story 22. That carrying a small, convenient bag of items you'd like to have with you day to day is somehow feminine and worthy of derision when men do it, unless it falls in some narrow subgroup that's been deemed acceptable for some reason, like messenger bag or briefcase. I've had some people tell me it's because men don't use makeup, but I hardly do. My purse is full of handy things like my reading glasses, sunglasses, pens and paper, a mini first aid kit, USB stick, Tylenol. I cringe at the thought of hypothetically not being allowed to have those things with me when I need because carrying a handbag isn't something my gender does. At least men's clothes get usable pockets. Effing Christ. I think this is down to the handbag industry. Even with my big thighs, male cyclist, I can fit a phone, wallet, keys, tissues, USB stick, lipstick, some other makeup stuff, and a few tampons. Story 23. Drinking the milk of other species is pretty damn strange. Honey is even odder. So a bee collects nectar, partially digests it repeatedly, regurgitates it, and then stores it in wax cells. Yummy. Story 24. Dance. It's odd when you think about it. There's an inevitable part of club night when my buzz starts to wear off, I look at my circle of friends and I think, what the F? You can dance if you want to. Story 25. Working 9 to 5, 5 days a week. Why does everyone have to be at work at the same time? If you work 9 to 5, you are never able to go to the bank, post office, or anything like that because they are also open 9 to 5. But there are people out there who think you don't have a real job unless you work 9 to 5, and it's never questioned why they think that way. Not to mention the otherwise avoidable traffic it causes. That's another point I usually make. It just doesn't make sense for all the cars to be on the road at the same time on purpose. Yeah, plus our road systems are way overbuilt because they're designed to handle 2 massive bursts of traffic each day, so they're underutilized outside rush hour. True. Before direct deposit, I had to sign my checks for my dad to deposit. Working nights, people asked if I'm going to sleep all day. You sleep all night, don't you? I work nights as well, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. People cannot believe that I would be asleep at 2 p.m. or something. My family requests all kinds of help with stuff all the time during the day, but if I so much as call someone at 1 a.m., I get torn to shreds by my parents. Personally, I blame Dolly Parton. I completely agree. I work nights, usually from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., and I feel so much more productive. I wake up at like noon or 1 p.m. I can go to all those 9 to 5 places without having to worry about rush hour traffic, and then I go to work. Repeat. It feels like I have so much extra time compared to my 9 to 5 friends. Interesting, when I worked nights, I felt like I had no free time. Work, sleep, dinner, can't do anything productive, / drink a beer, / and all my friends are working now, / because I'm going to work. Payroll was nice, though. I think you inadvertently answered the question Guacamole asked. 9 to 5 gives us a time everyone can plan to get crap done. In Japan, it's even worse. The ATM closes at 5:02. Did you ever think that maybe as human beings we weren't meant to have 9 to 5 jobs 5 days a week, and that in the past people worked when they had to, did things when they needed, lived their lives in the way best for them? I'm gonna stop myself before I go on the longest tangent ever, but yeah. Story 26. Closing bathroom doors when they aren't in use. I mean, isn't it awkward to knock on the door and have the person who's taking a dump have to reply, "Hey," or whatever? The sight of a toilet isn't going to make people think you're uncouth, just leave it open if nobody's in there. In my house, it's common practice to leave the bathroom door open if it's not occupied. I thought everyone did the same. Especially if you're staying at a friend's house when you get up in the morning, didn't know where everyone is, the bathroom door is shut, but you know it's always shut. Do you wiggle the handle to see, knock and ask, but risk it being an awkward conversation with your friend's other half who you don't know very well? Or stick your ear to the door to listen for noises? Or wander around the house in your pajamas trying to figure out where everyone is? Hooray for people who leave the door open when it's empty. Story 27. The nod. No one ever taught me how to do the nod, but whenever I make eye contact and do it, I receive one. Whenever someone does the nod to me, I do it back. You were taught by seeing it. There are lots of things that you do that you weren't sat down and specifically taught. That's not the part I really struggle with. Why do we do it? Who's the nod father? If I recall correctly, it's ingrained in us. If you notice with friends, you nod upward, exposing the neck and signaling your friends. Strangers, you nod down, covering the throat and showing respect, completely subconscious. That's some grade A bro anthropology. That's a real interesting thought. Story 28. Woman wears a skirt, it gives her comfort. Man wears a skirt, everyone is butthurt. But I don't want to wear a skirt, but I'd be more happy to wear robes if society didn't think it so odd. It could still have pockets, my junk could breathe, and it would be way more comfortable. I just really want to wear skirts. One of these days, I'll give up on society and just do it. Buy yourself a kilt, and if anyone asks you about it, put on your best Scottish accent, practice first, and start shouting things like, "You got a problem with that, laddie!" Nobody messes with an angry Scotsman. I'm glad this is becoming less of an issue, at least if you live in more urban areas. Folks, wear what you want, like tie-style fisherman pants! Men's ties, it makes no sense. Hey, how about we hang a tiny piece of cloth around our neck? Story 30. Everybody needs to have a full-time job. We have developed technology to supply the community with everything we need to live and need as little manual labor as possible. But instead of trying to minimize the amount of time everyone has to work and divide the remaining jobs, we create an artificial scarcity in goods so people have to come up with jobs that literally serve no other purpose than gaining money from the rest of the population, wasting a lot of time and potential. Story 31. Every one of us just goes about their business. Think about it. You walk in the city, you see thousands of people, but they never question what the other is doing and they don't interact unless predetermined or necessary. It's a curious thing how we just ignore everyone else. Here you have millions of people, each and every one unique, but we only interact with a select 200 or so in our daily lives. Of course, if we were to greet every one person that we see, it would be quite an exhausting life. But I find it fascinating that we ignore others so easily. Am I making sense here, or is it just another dumb thing I've said? Story 32. I don't know why, but people who intentionally act stupider than they are. It's not attractive, it's just annoying. Is that a social norm that everyone just accepts? Because I feel like he just wanted to complain about something that wasn't fully related to the topic. Ooh, see, now that is a social norm that I don't care for. Story 33. In many countries, tipping is a certain percentage automatically regardless of how good the service was. Yes, because in countries like the USA, tipping is some of the only money a person makes. And I don't care if you didn't love the service, tip your servers. If you were in some other store and didn't love the employee, you wouldn't demand their manager dock their pay. I know it's a crap system and shouldn't be that way, but until it isn't a thing anymore, tip your servers. Story 34. Gendered objects in some languages. Why the F should I have to work out the gender of a table before I can even talk about it? I don't care. I'm not going to try to copulate with it, so why should I care about its gender? Maybe if you took the time to care, you'd have a closer relationship with your table. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.